Well, you don't need to buy a GoPro anymore. Hey guys, welcome to the vlog. My name is Vic Barry. I work as a creative video director and editor, and this channel is all about camera gear and making better content for your videos. So, the DJI Osmo Action. It's out there, it's official. On the last video we were speculating on the specs, and in this video, should you buy it and should you really dump your GoPro? Any of the GoPro stuff that you have. Osmo Action GoPro Hero 7 Black. If you've got neither, which one should you get? If you've got a GoPro, should you upgrade to an Osmo Action? They're more or less the same camera. They've got the same specs, same sensor size, 4K 60, 4K 30, slow motion options, 4x slow motion, 8x slow motion. So which one should you get? What's the point? Does it make a difference? So here's the thing, and here's my take. I've looked at a whole load of videos this evening from the likes of Peter McKinnon, Devin Supertramp, iPhondu, iJustine, and everybody else that's been given early access to the Osmo Action. DJI, we were friends. If you want picture quality and you want a price point, Osmo Action is where it's at. I hate to say it, but the Osmo Action has got better picture quality than the Hero 7 Black, and the image is quite soft in comparison to the Osmo Action. All the footage I've seen today, even though YouTube compresses the hell out of everything, the Osmo Action is sharper, it's clearer, it's got better dynamic range than the GoPro Hero 7 Black. And it's got less distortion on the wide angle lens because the field of view is 145 degrees on the Osmo Action versus 170 degrees on the GoPro Hero 7 Black. And we all know that distortion, so anything that's straight at the edges is going to kind of warp. There is an option to de-warp, I think it's called, on the Osmo Action, and it does a subtle effect in camera of de-warping or de-curving your footage, but you can still do that in post, and you're still going to have to do it in post if you want to take away that action camera look. And when you do that, you're going to have to crop in invariably, and that's going to lose a little bit of quality, and it's also going to lose some of the width that you gain. But you've less distortion to work with on the Osmo Action versus the GoPro Hero 7 Black. Picture quality is better, the price point is better. What do GoPro do now? Everything is more or less the same. They're both waterproof to, like, I think the Osmo Action is waterproof to like a meter more than the GoPro, but we're kind of splitting hairs there. But ultimately, better picture quality in the Osmo Action, better price point, and everything else is more or less the same. The stabilization on both cameras is electronic stabilization, which means that in low light, the stabilization and the way it works with the Skynet code or whatever they've got inside it, it analyzes the scene and it kind of looks at everything. So when there's low light and it's not got enough to analyze, it is going to struggle, like blah, blah, blah. If it's going to struggle, it's going to struggle in low light because it can't analyze low light properly because there's not enough detail for it to analyze. And if there's not enough detail, then it can't stabilize the image. Unlike the Osmo Pocket, for example, which has got a 3-axis gimbal. So yeah, there really is no reason to buy the GoPro Hero 7 Black right now, because you're going to get picture quality that is not as good, not by much, but it's just a little bit behind the Osmo Action, and it's the price point. Ultimately, DJI have kind of possibly taken a loss in this. I'm not really sure, but similar cameras, cheaper price point, better quality on the DJI one. I love GoPro as a brand. They have defined the action camera genre. If you go and you start looking for, a knockoff action camera, a cheap thing, you're like, oh, I want a cheap GoPro. You don't go, I want a cheap action camera. GoPro have defined this whole genre, niche, whatever you want to call it, of action cameras. The whole GoPro mount system, which the Osmo Action cleverly uses, I mean, there's 10 trillion different types of mounts out there for action mounts, but really they're GoPro mounts. We know that. It's a brave move from DJI to storm into this market, in the action camera market. There's a lot out there. The dual LCD is a really good idea, but when you've got a lens that's more or less pretty damn wide, as long as the thing is pointing at your face, you're in shot. So is it a GoPro killer? I don't know. GoPro's always going to have a fan base. They've got the brand awareness for action cameras. But if DJI can market this correctly, they've got the price point, they've got the quality, and they probably could have this. What do GoPro do now? If I was GoPro, I would have no option but to drop the price, at least match the Osmo, but I think they could undercut it by at least 25 bucks maybe knock $100 off the whole thing, because it's coming to the end of its life cycle. GoPro Hero 8 or GoPro Hero 7 Plus or whatever it's going to be called will kind of come and be announced September, October time. So it's starting to come to the end of its life cycle. So maybe they need to drop the price a little bit more, because as I said, from the marketing perspective of DJI can get this camera out there enough, then, you know, they're going to get it in a lot of hands very quickly, and it's going to destabilize that whole kind of GoPro fan base that are out there, because people are always wanting better quality, and the Osmo Action is offering better quality. So I think for GoPro right now, they need to drop the price really, really quickly, and then they can go, we have a camera, same spec, better brand recognition for action cameras, and it is cheaper. And then it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But if they don't drop the price and they just keep their head down and plow on until the GoPro Hero 8 or the next iteration of the GoPro, and what are they going to do in that? 8K? Maybe. 4K 120? Maybe. Another screen? Yeah, but everybody will then say GoPro are copying DJI with the screen on the front. So the ball, while it's well and truly in GoPro's court, it's going to be pretty damn hard to hit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of the Osmo Action. Is this a camera that you would like to buy? What would you do with it? Is it something that you would use for vlogging? Or is it a case that you're like, yeah, I'm going to just strap this on my head and we're going to rock on with it? Anyway, my name is Vic. Thank you so much for watching. If you have found this video useful, if you think, yeah, this kind of stuff he said made sense, consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so on Patreon. Patreon.com/VicBarry. All of the proceeds from Patreon go right back into the channels. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We will see you in the next episode of the vlog. And until then, don't stop fighting for yourself.